Okay, we are here today to talk about something very, very important to the process of you creating your podcast introduction. We are going to go into the details about what you need to know to have an awesome podcast introduction. So let's get right to it. Hey y'all, Crystal here today, and I'm excited to talk to you about podcast intros because this is kind of how you get people to stick around and listen to the rest of your podcast. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to check out this video right here where I go into detail about how you can use your podcast intros and outros, especially whenever you're working with interviews. But I've been doing a lot more content lately about solo podcasters. So I wanted to address, what do you put inside your podcast intro? So let's break down the three most important components of your podcast introduction. So first and foremost, any good podcast introduction has a fantastic hook. This is what you can put at the very, very beginning of your show to let people know what your podcast is about to be about. Like, do you have a fantastic interview? Do you have a great takeaway that people are just gonna get, oh my goodness, this is so good? You wanna give them a little cliffhanger, a little teaser about what they're gonna experience, or there are a number of different ways that you can do this, but I encourage you to take some time and really focus on, what can I say in the first few seconds of this episode that's really going to get people excited to listen to the entire thing all the way to the end? And I know you podcasters are a very detailed bunch of people and you want to know, how long should my hook be? Now, depending on how long your show is, this could range from 20 seconds to 2 minutes. It really just depends on your show, your format. If you need help kind of understanding the format of your show, I encourage you to check out this video right here because especially for you solo podcasters, this will help you lay the foundation for how you can show up for every single episode. But you gotta have a great hook right from the beginning. The second important thing that I want you to have in every single one of your podcast intros is a self-sponsored ad. What is that, right? So a self-sponsored ad is an opportunity for you to plug yourself, right? I'm sure you've heard podcast ads of, like there's this business that wants to sponsor the show, or the host will read all kinds of different ads. Well, I want you to put in an ad about yourself. Do you have a social media following that you're trying to grow? Do you have a free Facebook group? Do you have a product, a service, some type of merchandise that you want to sell? Have that as a mention in the podcast introduction so you can get more eyes on whatever it is that you're trying to grow in your own online business. And another quick note about self-sponsored ads, like there's nothing that says you can't put a self-sponsored ad at the very beginning of your show in front of the hook. I just want you to kind of think about, how is this going to work best for my listeners? Because what may work really well for my audience may not translate as well for you. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind as you decide how you want to formulate your podcast intro. Should the hook go first? Should you have your self-sponsored ad? Or going into our third thing that you need for your podcast intro, do you need to have your podcast main theme at the very beginning? Now, what is a podcast main theme? If you've ever listened to my podcast, the Proffitt podcast, then you will recognize my main theme. Welcome to the Proffitt podcast, where entrepreneurs go to learn how to start, launch, and market their podcast. I have this little clip in there that is in every single episode. It has a little fun music in there to kind of, get everybody excited about podcasting. I mean, who's not excited about podcasting? Am I right? But a podcast main theme is a great way for you to brand your show. It's an opportunity to tell people, hey, this is who this podcast is for. This is what we're all about. And it's a great way to start marketing your show, because marketing isn't just about graphics and fancy ads and selling and buying and like all the things. It actually starts in very small steps. And I believe consistency with your marketing is one of the most effective ways to make your marketing work for you very easily. You just have to figure out a way to brand your show and make it stand out from all the other podcasts out there. And a great way to do that is with your podcast main theme. I want you to tell me in the comments below, have you ever considered creating a main theme for your podcast, whether it includes music or you just say the same thing every single time? This could be a pre-recorded clip that you insert into every show like mine is, or it could be something that you just read, which I used to do way back when I first started my podcast. So tell me in the comments below if you've ever considered creating a podcast main theme for your podcast. That's all I have for you today about podcast introductions. If you have any questions, make sure you post them in the comments below. And if you have not already, I would love it if you would subscribe and give us a thumbs up on this video. Tell me in the comments what other videos you want to see about podcasts. If you have an interview podcast or a solo podcast, tell me what types of content that you would like to see us create here on this channel. Make sure you check out these other videos right here, all about podcasting and creating your online business. And as always, remember, keep it up. We all have to start somewhere.